on thousands of webinars, tracking and watching the data. The level of data he has, the actuality of it, the practicality of it, the current nature of it is vital. And not only is he speaking at WebinarCon, but he is also one of our gracious top sponsors, so we love him. So everyone, come on, blow up the likes, blow up the comments. Let's go, let's go. Let's get this message out to as many people as we can. Help me welcome to this interview, Casey Zeman, founder of EasyWebinar. Casey, what's up, man? Thanks so much for being here.
Anik, thank you for having me, man. I'm good, man. I'm pumped to be here with you today. I was excited about getting on with you.
I'm going to see you in like 2 weeks. I'm excited. This is by far our best WebinarCon we've ever done, which is saying a lot given it's our 6th one. So thank you for your support early on. I mean, you came on as a sponsor, God knows how long ago, like 9-10 months ago. So we really appreciate that. But honestly, couldn't have.
Well, I was just going to say, I came to your first one, the first WebinarCon that was ever done, man. So at that point there was so much value being delivered, and I just had to be a sponsor this year and come again. Yeah,
I appreciate it. That first one was the one that got the world shut down. So that was the last. It was like the last event.
That was my last conference ever for until
many people's. Montgomery County, which is where the facility was where we did the event, 5 days after our event ended, Montgomery County shut down and did not allow any more gatherings or events. 5 days after it ended, it was like, wow, we slipped into the nick of time. But here we are. We don't expect the world to come to an end post this WebinarCon, at least as of yet, if everything stays well. I was gonna say, we couldn't have a better sponsor for WebinarCon than EasyWebinar. I mean, there isn't a single person that's at WebinarCon that doesn't need a powerful webinar platform. And this is probably one of the most frequent questions that I get. And one of the challenges with building an incredible webinar platform is that everyone has so many demands and so many things that they wish to do, want to do, test to do. And, you know, as a platform, I'm sure you have to have a diligent kind of, what I would say, discipline about what you're going to build and what you're not going to build. And one of the things I love about all the time that I've spoken to you, Casey, is that you are a relentless data man. I mean, you are watching and tracking what's going on with your users and how they're using webinars. So you don't have to create the next feature or the next thing based off of someone's whim or someone's request. You look at the data and say, what is working? And let's emulate that and push that, and let's get that out to the market. Let's tell our users, you don't have to reveal whose data it is, but that is very helpful data. So the presentation that you're going to be doing at WebinarCon is a culmination of the biggest trends and data that you are seeing and how webinars are changing and evolving and improving for 2026. This, honestly, for everyone coming to WebinarCon, it's hard to pick the favorite talk. But I can tell you this talk is going to be one I can't miss because there's nobody else that has this level of information and data. Casey's presentation is not going to be theory. It's not going to be built off of just ideas and thoughts. It's hard data. So yeah, Casey, what are some of the kinds of things you guys see back there tracking so many webinars? Has there ever been anything that's been like kind of surprising or shocking? Or you're like, oh, I never thought that would work, but damn, it's working.
Well, I mean, you know, the thing I think that works the best is when you can get into a platform that gives you everything you are looking for in the way of, or things that you even need that you don't know you need yet. You know, we're a holistic webinar platform. So, you know, you can run live webinars, and you can, and one of the things that we pride ourselves on is this idea of being able to create one live webinars and then span from live webinars into simulated live experiences, and then from simulated live experiences go into evergreen schedule stacking, where you're now running these events 24/7. But a lot of times, a lot of platforms just allow one of those avenues, and oftentimes if you jump into like, an automated webinar solution, evergreen solution, you have limited things you could do with it. You have limited data that you're basing things on, and oftentimes you can test it and it fails, and then you move on and you don't do automated webinars. What we believe in our system, after having looked at so many different webinar experiences, is that the only time, the best way to get a successful webinar up is running it multiple times over and over again, and testing it live with an audience, and then once you have the data that you're looking for, being able to now take that what was once live and now stream it even as a live experience as the first step. Not all the way evergreen, but stream it out pre-recorded with all the bells and whistles of what it felt like almost live, even with a live chat, right? But it's pre-recorded. And then now you're testing that out. So you take your best webinar that performed at maybe 10% of your, 10% conversion on your live event. Now you move that and you do that as a simulated live. You try to line up close to those conversions, maybe 5 to 10% conversion rate, right? And then you take that and see the results there. Then you move it into evergreen, right? And the thing about our platform is we allow you to do all of that. So you can go from live to simulated live to evergreen in one fell swoop. You can clone the webinars that were once live into simulated live, clone a webinar that was once simulated live into evergreen, and it just works in this holistic way of being able to actually get a result by the end of it. Because I see too many people sort of like jumping into what they think they need to do for evergreen when they haven't sort of perfected, their live experience. And we've talked about this before. It's like when people don't lock down, a simple conversion rate, or get a result even from a live, and they go straight to an automated. I see this tons of time. Oh man, I'm getting great. I get, people registered, and I get good show up, but they're dropping off like flies, right? It's like, well, that's because you didn't run your live webinar enough to perfect how to keep people there, keep people sticky on the webinar, and what are some of the things you could do? You didn't look at the analytic graph to know when people were leaving. Because that's the data. What we see in the data is the biggest issue is drop off. And I mean, it's not even so much registrations and show up. Like those are still things that you need to be able to solve. And in EasyWebinar, we have those pieces solved by giving you different strategies within the actual software. So the functionality of software is actually intended to get you more registrations, more show ups. But more importantly, also, once you get people coming, it's the stick factor of them sticking around. And that's one of the bigger issues there. And I think that if you've perfected the first two steps but not the last one, nothing is going to gain success, right? Your offer is probably not locked down. You're not creating enough anticipation of why they're there and how their problem, their aching issue is solved by your solution, right? So you're missing the mark, but you have to run these live first to be able to tell where you're meeting people at their cycle of dilemma. There's a cycle of dilemma being like, where are you meeting them where they understand their biggest nagging pain, and how ready are them to solve that pain, because it's aggravating them, it's killing them, it's requiring them to make a change in their life. And if they haven't made that change in their life, what's going to be their future if they don't do this right now, right? And the goal is that you meet them at that point and you show them the road to salvation, basically. And if you haven't figured that out, in a live webinar experience, you're not going to have it in an automated webinar experience, you know? I just feel like, you know, what we see is like people don't give enough time and energy into raising the stakes of their workshops, you know? And we give them the tools to be able to add those elements in, like engagement tools of like, hey, when someone shows up, give them give them a downloadable worksheet, or some sort of show up bribe can happen at the beginning. Have some polls that are directly connected to that pain that we just talked about. And if you have those in the beginning, that can help. So yeah, as I said, we've touched on this before, where only by going into the live data can you know how to make your webinar better. Because when you go into the live data, you can also look at the questions that people have, and you can see the trends. Like in EasyWebinar, we have all this data where you can filter out if people are having the same common trends, and you might see objections that are being made in the comments. And if you don't figure out how to take that data and add it back into into your workshop, where you preemptively answer a question or a problem or an objection before someone even has it, you know, if you don't do that, you're always going to have a kind of a lukewarm webinar. So one of the nice features of EasyWebinar is you can go back into the data, let that data inform your decision making on how to improve your webinar experience. And because we do the live, we allow the simulator, all the pieces of it, because we allow all the pieces of it, you can look at every data point, inform that data point to be able to do the next step. And the goal is to scale. The goal is to take a webinar and have that as the funnel you use to actually sell your products and services. Because we see when people come through a workshop, the value of that customer is like 280% higher or more than people that just come through a lead magnet. I mean, we see so much data that where the value of a customer who watches a webinar is far greater, whether it's SaaS, whether you're selling a course or program, whether you're selling service, it doesn't matter. A webinar is the indoctrinator, so you have to perfect it. And we have a platform that allows you to to get to that point of perfection, or damn near perfection. Yeah.
You know, we started raising capital for the company I'm building right now. And we were out there looking at what other companies in the financial space do to raise capital, and started emulating their models. And they work, of course they work. But I was like, there's got to be a better way to do this. Like I'm looking at it like 25 years, and I couldn't help but think, I'm like, I got to do a webinar. Like I got to do a webinar. And so we finally tested one, and sure enough, you know, it's probably been our best tool yet. And I'm sitting here laughing. I'm like, it's been right under my nose the entire time. The one skill set that I have that I'm really good at is just do more webinars. So it's highly applicable for everything. You're 100% right. The relationship and the connection you build. For everyone who's watching right now, you just heard Casey talk about this, and this is so powerful, and this is going to be in his talk. He's going to give you, it's basically 2 levels of data. Right? So the platform is allowing you as an individual user of the platform to have all your data at a minutia level. What's going on in your whole funnel, your experience on the webinar, so that you can continue to make those micro 1%, 1%, 1% tweaks. And trust me, these 1% tweaks is how you win in the game of scale. When we were scaling up to spending $1 million a month on paid traffic for webinars, we were tweaking. We wanted those 1% wins. That was a big mover for us. So he gives you all that data. EasyWebinar gives you all that data. But then imagine what Casey gets to see. He gets to see everybody's micro data. And out of that accrue the macro data, which is like, all right, there are some trends amongst our users. Anyone who's doing this seems to have far better results. And that's what the presentation is going to provide us. A culmination of that. It's going to be incredibly powerful. Listen, if you don't have your WebinarCon ticket yet, November 10th to 12th, it'll be happening in Orlando, Florida at the beautiful Ritz Carlton Resort. This is our 3rd year doing it at this hotel. We love this hotel. It's a beautiful property, great hotel room rate, which I think at this point may have expired, but we're trying to work on extending it a little bit. We sold out the rooms. This is your last chance. We're getting really down to the wire. If you want a great price that's even below what's listed on the site, which is WebinarCon.com, message me, ping me, find me. Send me a message, a direct message on Facebook. It's me. It's not my AI, not yet. I will reply to you. Both Ron and I have kind of a special price for someone who shows us the initiative of messaging us. Or go to WebinarCon.com and grab your ticket there. All right? And if you're getting multiple tickets, there's additional discounts. Now's the time. Room's pretty much getting full, so you don't have much opportunity. And come meet Casey. Come hang out with him. He's going to be there the entire time. They have a booth there. They're going to be showing their software. You have an opportunity to really see it, play with it, ask him direct questions. It is an amazing, amazing software. Yeah, I just can't wait to see everything he's put together. So come out, hang out, meet, network, make deals, learn, expand, grow. The top of the industry, literally the best of the best of the best, are not just speaking. They're going to be in the audience. And that's the power of WebinarCon. All right. So thank you, Casey. I look forward to seeing you here in a couple of weeks. To the rest of you, hit like, hit comment. Let's do a shout out to Casey below. And make sure you get your ticket. Ping me as soon as you can. And I'll see you here in a couple of weeks at WebinarCon in Orlando, Florida at the beautiful Ritz Carlton Resort. This is Anik reminding you, when life pushes you, stand